welcome again to the Festival of Hope. I can't believe we're already halfway through, but we're halfway through our time together, which has been an incredible exploration of the end of year rituals, that traditions and holidays that are celebrated around the world. And so to this afternoon, I guess this evening, I'm super excited to be welcoming one of our Soaring Spirits leadership's family members, a beloved son, Ricky Deggelman. Ricky, hi.
Aloha, Michelle.
It's
Thanks for having
so
me.
wonderful to have you. I'm so excited that we get the opportunity to have this conversation. I'm grateful for your explanation and sort of exploration of Makahiki in a video that, as you all know, you can find those videos on Festival of Hope website. Just look to the left on the screen, on the menu of the Festival of Hope page, and you'll see community videos. So Ricky was one of our guests for the video that we are still, that is up now, so you can learn more about Makahiki. But Ricky, one of the things that I've always fascinated by, first of all, have a heart for Hawaii and for Hawaiian tradition myself, but I know that you do too, and I'm so curious if you could just give us a few minutes on how you came to love Hawaii, and I'd love to know what your Hawaiian name is and how you got it.
Yes, long stories. I will do my best to keep them relatively short. My love, originally, I think, was coming here like with my family from. We were living in Seattle. My mom and my sister and I. We would go on all our family vacations with my sister and I's Uncle Larry. My mom calls him Uncle Larry too. I think one of her best friends from college. We would go like whenever we would go on family vacations, we would go, the four of us, or most often. So I think we went to Hawaii Island, the big island of Hawaii, Moko Keawe, and then I think we went to Maui and Oahu briefly. And just my love, I think the water like was one of my main like first like aha moments, or oh my goodness, like I couldn't believe that it was warm and you could see, and that all the life was real nani or beautiful underneath. I think I spent like 6 hours straight snorkeling, and the backs of my calves got like so sunburned that I couldn't like bend them from like just pain or whatnot. So that was probably my original introduction of love for the place. My mom had come to Kauai, actually, where I live, I think with Uncle Larry and with some of her other friends when I was younger. Like I think when I first came, I was like 12 or 13 or something. But I remember, it's kind of like the saying of, somebody went someplace and all I got was this stinking t-shirt. Like it was a nice t-shirt, and I like have a picture of me and like my heart cat, Tiger Lily, who like I live 18 years with my life, and is like someone that is really special to me, who's a soaring spirit now. And my dog Bud, like I have these pictures of me when I'm like 7 or whatever. She came back from Kauai, and I'm like with those two animal people and wearing a Kauai t-shirt. So it's interesting that I find myself here. I moved to Kauai in 2009 and ended up taking a permaculture design course and got involved with growing food in a good way. And that was for like 10 years off and on. I would go back and forth from here, California, Seattle, and then I moved to Hawaii Island for a few years off and on, and then I moved back to Kauai when I met my kumu, or my teacher, and my Hanai mother. She adopted me as her, Hanai son, Kumu Kauai Iki Olores, Dana Kauai Iki Olores, who is also a soaring spirit now. And she, I think the first day I met her, or the next day after I had met her, like we were living up in Koke'e, which is Maukas, up the Waimea Canyon, this place kind of like up above West Kauai, and just like enchanted forest. Basically, they have like the best of both worlds, like trees that I'm familiar with from the continental United States, cedar and redwood trees, which are also like family members to me. But then they also have koa and ohia, like native Hawaiian trees. So it's just like this, like, sometimes I can't believe like when my family from elsewhere gets to come to Hawaii, and it's like you know, can be that rainbow bridge of sorts, even like with our connection to our loved ones that have passed on. It's like that it's even that much more special when we do feel that connection that we share. And so she basically, the grass was overgrown, um, and it was kind of, our yard was a little bit like on a grade, a slight incline decline, and so I'm like on my knees, like basically like mowing the lawn, you know, the grass with my hands, like pulling, you know, grass this tall so we could see. And she was at the point in her life, my kumu and hanai mother, Kauai Iki, where she needed kokua. She needed help with certain things. She physically couldn't get around very well. So I thought safety wise, like it's a good idea to be able to like see where you walk in and, you know, not slip and fall, but also just like we were, you know, planting food to, you know, grow gardens and stuff. So I'm basically pulling the grass, you know, on my knees. She's sitting, you know, in a lawn chair or whatever up above. And I had just met her the day before, mind you, but she's basically like my friend who was a spirit friend, like Kuai Helani, Kuai Nui, just came and said, give that boy my name. Like, so her friend she had known in life, who helped her through college at the University of Hawaii on Oahu, came and was like, give that boy my name. So I was like, that's, you know, that's like something that you could like hope for all your life, but like you may or may not ever like, you know, you can make up your own name. People do it all the time, but to be given like a name like through her, but like from her, you know, close friend, I don't know. I mean, I could say a lot about it, but basically it's a big, I shared the word kuleana with Mary last time we spoke. And for someone who watched the video, maybe they know it's like it means responsibility, but more like sacred responsibility. Like that's like a big kuleana to carry on someone's actual name. And interestingly enough, his first name was also Richard, which is my, you know, biological parents.
Wow.
Ricky gave me that name. So it's if I do my full name, English and Hawaiian, it's Richard Charles Kuai Helani Kauai Nui Diegleman, to answer your question.
Wow. Wow. That, I mean, the thing is, I think people don't always know that you can be given like that there's a process by which you would be given a name like that. And to, like you said, carry that sacred honor forward is an incredible gift, and not something that happens, you know, as you said, it doesn't happen all the time. You dream about like having that opportunity. So I wanted to share that story because I know that it's a meaningful experience that doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. And my friend Felicia actually talked to some of Kuai Helani, Kuai Nui, the first Ohana, his relatives, and like somehow made a connection and was like told them, you know, about me or showed them a picture or something where like were like they weren't like, oh no, he can't have his name. They like gave the thumbs up and they were cool with
Okay,
it too.
good.
That felt good also. That it's
I
not
bet.
just like who being like, you know, he can't even say you can have it, but like his other people are like, yeah, you can, you know, carry that on.
That's awesome.
A big honor as well.
All right, so there is a teaching that happens within Hawaiian community, and you have, as you said, you know, you have people who've taught you, and you've had the opportunity to teach others. Can you tell me how that applies to the songs you're going to sing or you're going to drum today, and how that is interacting with? Like, we've talked a little bit about how COVID has changed the gatherings that you would normally be having right now.
Um, yeah, I think um, it's a lot to say on it. So I think just first and foremost, like acknowledging uh, how important it is uh, to stay in alignment with following the proper protocol, even though this is kind of like alternative. Being able to share this, I shared with Mary last time that in the hula tradition, which is a tradition basically that carries the culture in a lot of ways, like on its shoulders. Like I shared with her, it's how we connect from the ancient past to the distant future, and that we, by participating here now are the portal of sorts to be able to like bring that knowledge and that wisdom together, and to be able to tell that story potentially, and to honor, you know, to honor where we come from, where we are and where we're going, and you know, to pay that homage and respect, to those that have, you know, that have taught us how, and that a lot of it is, you know, spirit coming through. And so for, you know, for myself to not be raised in this tradition, to not have been born in Hawaii, it's that much more, I feel like, of, you know, of an honor, and at the same time, like, to be conscious and to be careful that I do follow that proper protocol, even though my kumu is someone who knew that this needs to be shared with the world. I mean, a lot of aspects of the culture were, you know, lost. Like when a kupuna, when an elder passes away over here, sometimes they say it's like a library burning down. You know, there was a
Wow.
lot of oppression and suppression of the culture, and there was a renaissance in 1975 of sorts through music and through traditional wayfinding, they call it, or celestial navigation, open ocean voyaging, which is how people got here originally. And they, you know, they had very interconnected relationships with the elements that like supported that being possible, and had a lot, you know, they were the best seafaring people in the world. And that kind of, you know, connection to the rest of Polynesia and the world is something that like really, you know, something to stand uh upright, you know, to really like, a lot of the tradition, there's the protocol is interwoven because it has purpose, it has meaning, you know.
Mm.
Even with the language, you know, the words have what they call kauna, or hidden meaning, and a lot of it is, you know, cannot be translated. You know, one word might be 10 words. I've heard in other places, like in, you know, different Inuit languages or something, where it's like they have 100 names for water depending on what form it takes or what way it moves. Like that I was sharing with Mary, that, you know, every single place here like has a place name, and it's significant to, you know, the purpose of how that supported people and their life, and that their, you know, livelihood, that interconnectedness and that relationship to nature, and really like honoring of each other, and, you know, spirits that like support our lives. Yeah, so I don't know, I tend to run on, and I don't know if
That
that
was
answered
no,
the
that
question,
was perfect. That was a perfect
but
answer. But we're gonna segue into a song. So you told me that, you know, that things are a little different now, and that we wanted to be clear that usually you would do this in community.
yeah. And basically, what I also shared with Mary is that hula is something that was, you know, and a lot of people would say is still so, you know, sacred, that they're a reason why they have kapus or taboos, or why it's kind of, you know, so sacred it's forbidden for like just anybody. So it used to be that, I was telling her, just to dance or just to witness, like even the audience was chosen, not just anyone could like participate, not just the dancers but the people viewing. And that much of it was honoring in the tradition that my kumu was taught, and what she shared with me, for honoring specifically the gods and goddesses, um and the ali'i, you know. So the is Alau Papa and Olapa, I believe. And so it's like it was, you know, specific for like that would be the audience. So it's like in a way we can feel honored that like we're, you know, the modern day
Yeah.
of that. Same
Mhm.
time, Hawaii would say like the kapus have been lifted. You know, at a certain time, they decided that, like, you know, it used to be that only men could eat bananas, or only ali'i, only the royalty could eat, you know, red fish or whatever it was. But she says, you know, the kapus have been lifted, and I believe in a way it's so we can share it, you know, with the world. And so as long as it is, you know, in a respectful manner, I would hope that she from the other side would be happy that I'm getting to share this time with you all, and I appreciate it, even though at the same time I'm like, is it okay? Like, but I shared with Mary also, what she said, if you have love in your heart and you want to learn, I'll teach you, basically. So, and someone may be like, oh, that was a nice song and chant, and never think about it again. And someone, it may change their life forever, and they may like come to Hawaii and become a kumu hula themselves. Like, you never know. I mean, she talks about one of her fellow kumu hula Mauliola Cook. She's one haole from Yonkers, New York. Like, you don't have to be, even though she's like, her family is like from Mana, Kekaha, Waimea, 500 generations, like since time immemorial. Got that connection to like the Hoku Va'a, or the Wa'ahoku, the star canoes that came down. The first human beings, like these real deep inner connections and relationships. And so to just be like a Malahini or Haole from Oakland coming over here, and for her to be like, now you're Kauai Helani Kauai Nui, now you're my whole pa. When I first met her, I didn't even know she was a kumuhula. We were just friends, and I was being her kokua, her helper, but she started to share this tradition with me in a way that like I didn't even realize it was happening till it was happening. And then a lot of it has been like, since she's crossed over, I'm like, how do I continue in a good way? Because I cannot just ask and hear a response like I would from you, but I have to listen to the wind. I get to see the rainbow. I get to tune in even that much more, which is something that I wanted to be able to share some of through what I'm sharing with you all in what I'm going to be presenting, but also just connecting to that side of things, which is very alive here, as well as I don't know if this is the right forum, but I wanted to maybe connect you all with a link to, after Mary and I spoke the other day, there was a Kumukehao Lani Kekua, another kumuhula on Kauai, has a radio program called Aina Ike on the air on KKCR Kauai Community Radio. And there's archives that you can listen to, like if a show was within the last 2 weeks. And so I don't know if someone wants to go on, or I could attempt to do it and find Kumukehao's show to maybe like put on your website too, so people can listen and maybe get more in depth. Because she was speaking about Aumakua, what I had spoke of in Mary and I's last conversation, and just how those people that we love and lose are now that, and how we can stay connected even that much more so, and even though they're gone. Like, they're not gone, they're never gone. Like, what about Bob? They're actually very much still here. We just get to look elsewhere, even if that's just inside our hearts, like I said last time. So in honor of all that have come before and all that are yet to come, just giving my deepest sincerest gratitude and love for Kauai Iki. And I hope I do her justice, because I wouldn't be sitting here doing this if it wasn't for her. And of course, like, when people do something like this, like, they'll like chant their whole genealogy, like back to Adam and Eve or back to the stars. So I could say, Catherine Cormack and Big Ricky Deggelman, Kumukoi Iki, and that's about, I could go a few more back if I get to thinking about it. But just to really, invite the presence of all of those loved ones, that we can welcome them into this virtual sanctuary, where there's also in this festival of hope, right? Keep hope alive. I mean, sometimes in these like darker days, that's why we need to do these kind of things that much more. So I mahalo you all for doing what you do in the world, and it gives me hope. And even though I still stay hila hila and get some pulele hua, some butterflies in my stomach, I'm happy to share, and I'll do my best to stand up straight and do it.
Awesome. We're excited about it and honored to be included, truly.
Okay. Well, should I just get into sharing?
Yep. Okay. It's all
so
you now.
I'm gonna go with the camera, but I'd like to introduce this is Le Aloha. This is a Ipu Heke. It's a double gourd drum that Kauai Iki gave to me. And when she gave it to me, she was like, here you go. And I'm like, you mean to hold? And she's like, no, stupid. Basically, like, it's yours, you know? So like she gifted me lei aloha, which is like a lei of love. So like to be able to have her, you know, physically here helps me to have when, you know, sometimes it's good to have those like things that remind us of our loved ones. And, you know, there weren't that many things like that I have, but she's like super precious in that way. Plus she helps us, you know, what we're about to be doing. And there's an oli, which means chant, and also it means to be happy, that I would like to share. I think when thinking about what I would like to share, that I have one oli that she shared with me, that seems appropriate to start with, and then kind of like a melee or a song at the end, and then however much of the singing and chanting and pa'i, the lei aloha, the ipuheke, in between. And if you want to, you know, talk about each one or however you want to do it. But I think I'll start with Pule Ho Kahi, which my mom knows of because Kumu like called on the radio or on the phone when I was in California at my mom's and like did the recording so I could practice. But she also taught me in person, and then I like tried to learn it in English and really make that connection of what are we saying. But it's a unity prayer, and she composed it after Hurricane Iniki in 1994, when she saw the plants start to come back to life after the devastation of the hurricane. When we drive up Kokee, she would say like this, you know, area, this black forest they call it, was just big like koa and eucalyptus and different kind of trees were like matchsticks, she said. And she was on Oahu at the time when she composed this. But sort of I wanted to share that because of the hope of seeing that regeneration and that new growth, and that after experiencing a loss, like most of us, if not all, like have, however, you know, long it's been, like we can still feel that kind of devastated feeling, but to be able to share this and, you know, to unify, because it is a unity prayer, but also to remember that it, you know, it came to her and through her in that time when she started to see those little loud, you know, the leaves start to grow, you know, start to come back from, you know, that we're resilient too, you know, like to look to the plants and trees, to look to the animals, to look to the earth, you know, even though there's a lot of devastation and things that we could, you know, not be hopeful about, that there's reason to. So without saying too much, and I'll try to catch my breath, this is Pule Ho Kahi. Pa. Kua auma kua kupua no keia paiaina e ala mai e ho'i mai e ho i ke mai i ko kinolau e ku o ne e nu'u ka papa o ka honua e hapai mai e ku mai loko o ka lani e kanaloa e kohe malama lama o kanaloa o wili ke i kai a hele no e kane nui a kea e kane he kili e puka mai e ho i ke mai i ka ho o luho i kana hele hele e lono makua o a i ke ahi ina o pele e wehe i ke ala no na kanaka Eia ma'ako na lau o ke kumula au kukui. E ho mai e kia I mai. E ala ka I mai ka lipo lipo o ka pou. I ke alohi o ka la. E ke kaumaha. I ke oli oli I uka I ola I make. I ka honua I tala ni hoe kukupu. I nana ku hoe kukupu. I nana ku hoe tutupu. I nana tu. I luna o ka moku o ka pai aina nei. E ho ala mai. E aloha mai. Uh-oh.
Oh, it was beautiful, and you got your wish. The camera went off.
I
I feel like you may have been channeling something there.
I look up and said low battery, 20%, because Princess called and we were talking like 15 minutes before I came on, and then they're like, okay, yeah, you better go. But it was charging, but I guess now it's low, so I'll plug them in if we need to, if it's gonna cut out on us for real. But yeah, that was that. And it feels funny in a way to be like sitting inside, even though it's just like screened in windows. I was trying to think of an appropriate place, and I wanted there to stay the connection. But something that I would like to share about what Kumu shared with me about Oliin is to be paying attention, what is going on when you are, to basically should say allow your naleo o kupuna, to allow your ancestral voice to come through you. And I think we can do that even just without opening our mouth, but that is something that in the tradition here, the breath of life, the ha, is something that is a way to share your aloha. The alo is the presence, and the ha is the sacred breath of life. So to be able to share the presence of the sacred breath of life, and really to raise up our voices and to give thanks, and to be able to honor these forces that we're speaking of, and to unify them, whatever it is that we are saying. She would say to be attentive, like what's going on in nature around you, like that. Is the wind blowing? Are the waves crashing? Wherever you are, and even if it's in just your mind's eye, to allow that to influence how it is that things come about. And so to realize that we are much more than what you know confined to these walls. And something that I love about being here is that it's hard to miss that. Beauty is all around you. So to kind of be able to have that inspiration, and to have it be kind of potentially unlock those doors on the inside, to open up, to allow, do some, even if it's fall cleaning, like, and allow that spirit to move that much more freely and fluidly, and really like what's trying to come through you. Because we all, I was sharing some of the sayings. What my mom has, the one that I really liked, that we're spiritual beings having a human experience, like to really honor that spirit side of us, and at the same time know that we got some some physical needs too. It's tough in these times when we can't even like actually see or hug each other or whatever, but to be able to connect in whatever way, shape, or form, and then to know that most of it is that non-physical. So to have it be, even though it's like kind of restricted in a way, that it's like even more love, even more love, even more love, which is the one that I want to share at the end, kind of a prayer for that. so to speak.
I love it. All right, so let's do this. Do you feel like you need to plug your phone in?
Let's see. 17. So
Oh, we have a couple minutes probably. All right, so
okay.
I want to just say that anyone who has to drop off the call is welcome to do that now and to take the Aloha spirit with them. If you want to stick around for a little bit longer, we'll stay here with Ricky and I will ask you to go into your next song. I know you have another one that you wanted to kind of explore and tell us a little bit about, and then maybe we'll end on that one. But then I would like to ask you to stick around for just a minute after we hang up so that we can thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure. I mean, I know that, 30 minutes, like that if I'm just not just doing the hoike, like if I was to play all the songs, it might be another 30 minutes. So maybe I should just keep it short and sweet. And even though Aloha is here supporting me, maybe actually we could do one because there's one that Kauai, one of her close friends, Manuai, had composed after she passed away, and it's honoring her life. So maybe I could do one with Lei Aloha and then do the Aloha Mantra, which is the one I want to do at the end, and that could
That,
suffice for today.
that sounds
So
totally
one
perfect.
would probably take like another hour or something.
Well, we could listen for an hour, but we'll go with your shorter plan. It sounds perfect.
Okay. All right. You ready? Because
Ready.
okay, that's what we say here is ho ma kakao. Ma kakao is like, you ready? And then the haumana says I, which means yes, acknowledging you're ready. So ho ma kakao is like get ready. So it's ho ma kakao, and they say I.
Hi.
He mele aloha no Kauai iki. Kauai iki, Kauai iki. Kauai iki, Kauai iki. Hana ma Kauai, hana ma Kauai. Hana ma Kauai. Okay kahala. Okay kahala. Okay kahala. Kauai iki, Kauai iki. Kauai iki, Kauai iki. Hiwa, keiki hiwa hiwa. Keiki hiwa hiwa. Nui ke aloha, nui ke aloha. Kauai iki, Kauai iki. Kauai iki, Kauai iki. Kui e kalono, kui e kalono. Kui e kalono. Uni o Kauai, uni o Kauai. Kauai iki, Kauai iki. Kauai iki, Kauai iki, yeah. Hele iala, hele iala, hele iala, ikana hele, ikana hele, Kauai iki, Kauai iki, Kauai iki. Kauai iki, Kauai iki. Kulipo, kulipo, lipo. Kulipo, lipo. Ayala kamaile, ayala kamaile, ayala kamaile. Kauai iki, Kauai iki. Kauai iki, Kauai iki. Uahanale, uahanale, uahanale. Ene ena, ene ena. Kauai iki, Kauai iki. Kauai iki, Kauai iki. Kaua make, kaua make, kaua make. Waka no kahula, waka no kahula. Hey mele aloha no Kauai.
Mahalo.
Mahalo. I think we had 10% now. Is why I probably cut out again.
Okay, it's giving us another warning. All right, well, we have left the Aloha chant. I love that kind of celebration. I could hear the celebration of life in that last one. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, it's great. It's like we all doing the best we can as I say like that. It's sometimes like feels like a lot on our shoulders all at once, but just realizing, as corny as it may sound, that we are all in this together. So to kind of take strength in that also, and also as my mama said, like ask for help if you need that. I mean, I said that on the last video, like, that Manuai had composed that, and for Kwaiki as well, that music, and hula was an outlet for her in her life to be able to find that joy, and to share her love through in that way, in such a beautiful way. Life is really hard sometimes, so to be able to find those positive outlets for our energy and to be able to share that with each other is such a beautiful thing, I feel like and believe. So I just feel really grateful to get to share in that and to honor them. And at the same time, even though it's hard for me to like take that responsibility upon myself to honor myself in that way, that I can be a part of the living legacy and the prayer, so to speak, that we can include our voices in that as well. So that's something that this next one really reminds me of, because the mo'olelo, or the story of it and how it came to Kumu, is that she had just moved back to Kauai from Oahu. I believe she was 25 years old, and she had a dream vision. And in the dream vision, she saw millions of people from all different walks of life, and they were all holding hands and singing. And even though it was millions of people, it was all one voice. And it was in her native language, Olelo Hawaii, the Hawaiian language. And so basically, they were all sitting in a circle. You may be able to picture it. You can close your eyes if you want, holding hands. Your wahine, your female side, is your left, so you open for like the receptivity, and your kane, your male side, is your right, so down. So like you can imagine everybody holding hands around the world, millions of us, and singing. It's called the Aloha Mantra, and it's Aloha, Aloha Nui, Aloha Nui Loa. So we can do it together, and I encourage you, as she would, to, whenever you're feeling a lack of whatever it is that you would like to have more of, connection to source, or to that loved one that has crossover, to to sing this, to pray this. She kind of likened the root words, like as you say aloha, kind of like hallelujah, like it's almost like a worship song. And the translation basically is love, uh a lot of love, very much love, and even more love. Aloha, aloha nui, great, and aloha nui loa, long. So like great long love, however you want to translate it, like that it just keeps going and going. It reminds me of another saying. It was on a poster Kumu Roselle Bailey had gave me to give to Kumu, and then Kumu gave it back to me, and it said na kolo aloha, which means reverberating love. So to imagine kind of that, going out and out and out, and to all those corners that need it in the world, and also all those, corners within us in our hearts, or wherever our minds, do that cleaning and clearing, and yeah, lift up our voices again. So if we like all take a few deep breaths, and then it's either 3 or 4 times, and then she would always end going aloha. So, and forgive me, I've been a little under the weather. I'm just kind of recovering from a cold cough. So, color my, excuse me, pardon me, please. Thank you. Aloha, aloha nui, aloha nui loa, aloha, aloha nui, aloha nui loa. Aloha, aloha nui, aloha nui loa. Hana, one more time. Aloha, aloha nui, aloha nui loa. Aloha nui loa. Aloha nui loa. Aloha. Aloha nui. Aloha nui loa.
What a
Where you
beautiful
going? We love you.
and the idea of having everyone hand in hand around the world with one voice is exceptionally beautiful way to kind of bring this to a close.
Yeah, and she also said that when she saw that, she knew that world peace was possible. So it's yeah, it's the Aloha Mantra, but it's like we're praying for world peace. I mean, like how powerful is that if we all really can unite and join forces? And yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Ricky, what a joy to have you. And thank you for helping us celebrate all of the people who have gone before, and also to include that energy in our responsibility to carry forward the lessons we've learned, the love we have, what they've shared with us. So thank you very, very much. I'm going to ask you to stay right where you are, Jenny. I'm going to close up today. Everyone, I just want to remind you, we have Friday night entertainment tomorrow. We're not done for this week yet. We're looking very forward to that. So please join us right back here tomorrow if you'd like to review. Jenny did put the or the podcast that Ricky mentioned in the chat bar. So if you want to take a look at the program, you can see that by following the link there. And then I also want to just let you all know we are going to shift everybody into the waiting room after we're done here. I'm going to keep Ricky where he is, and we'll have a minute to kind of close up. So everyone, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Ricky, thank you so much. Mahalo, mahalo.
Everybody for being here. Aloha, aloha nui loa. And that I don't know if you're talking about the link from when Mary and I talked, or the KKCR episode, but I think it was.
Yeah.
You got it already. Oh,
It
you're
did.
good.
Jenny,
So it was the last.
lightning straight. She gets all the things. She's got it.
Thanks be to the technical wizards, because
Yeah.
I really appreciate it though. Thanks, Jenny.
All right,
Thanks,
everyone. So